Yes, my people, it is your boy VRD, and welcome to part 2 of my commentated drive between St. Pancras International and Faversham in a Class 395 Javelin. Part 1 was comprised of me taking the train down from St. Pancras to Strood, and in part 2 we're going to be continuing from Strood onto Faversham. So without further ado, let's get into it. So yeah, I'll tell you guys about the the little story. More or less, as you know, the first tunnel is called Higham Tunnel. The second tunnel is called Strood Tunnel. I more or less was exited Strood Tunnel thinking I was exiting Higham Tunnel. So I was doing 70 miles an hour coming out of Strood Tunnel. I see the 15 board jump out at me. This was during the night, by the way. Just imagine how terrifying that is. You're coming out of a tunnel thinking that you're okay to do 70 miles an hour, and then you see a 15 board. I almost had an accident in my trousers. The terrifying thing was that, imagine if that was in real life and I was actually driving a train and I made that mistake. I would imagine there's a lot of safety systems in place to prevent that. I mean, I'd hope there is, but still, it just goes to show how easy it is for accidents to happen on the railways. Right, we're about a minute late still, but it is what it is. Green signal, monitors, pressing the door close button. Doors have closed. Checking the monitors a final time and the signal. FNR switching to forward. Power notch 1. Even though we're on an upward gradient, the hill start button isn't really necessary, and that's just because the brake pressure takes so long to fall to 0. You can get your power in way before it hits 0. On a on an electro star, if you was to try that, you would end up rolling backwards because the brake pressure releases so quickly. But on this train, the brake pressure just takes so long. It's like speed limit is currently 15 miles an hour, so I've used power notch 2 initially, now reducing it to power notch 1. And we're up to 15, so shutting off the power. And the upward gradient is causing our speed to reduce extremely quickly. So now we're down to 12 miles an hour, getting power notch 1 in there again. Back up to 15, shutting off the power again. Sorry if I keep sniffing a lot. If you guys were paying attention, you would have seen the 30 board at the start of this bridge. So once the back of our train has passed that 30 board, which it probably has by now, just going to use power notch 2 to accelerate up to that speed. Up to 30 miles an hour, so moving the PBC into the off position. And we're now approaching Rochester station. So as we enter the platform, I'm going to make a minimal brake application. Just increasing that to about 50% there. The 6 carriage stop mark is about 2/3 of the way along the platform. You can see it coming up now. Just manipulating the braking force as necessary. Release the brakes for a bit. Burst of minimal application, releasing again, and a final burst to bring us to a stop. Perfect. F and R switch into neutral and door release on the left. We are late. We are very late. Actually, we're not that late. We're still a minute late. Pushing 2 minutes, but that's normal. That is normal. Green signal, checking the monitors. Door close button. Doors have closed. Green signal, checking the monitors again. F and R switch into forward. Power notch 1. Waiting for the brake pressure to fall to 0. And power notch 3 because we are in a 30 mph speed zone. So no need for power notch 4. I mean, you can if you want to, but I don't see the point. I'm exhausted, but I'm doing a good job commentating. I mean, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. Why am I lying to myself? But better than I thought. Anyway, up to 27, so I've just reduced the power to notch 1. We are on a bit of an upward gradient, so once you reach 30 miles an hour and shut off the power, the speed's gonna begin to reduce. So we're up to 30 miles an hour, shut off the power, and you can see our speeds immediately starting to reduce because of the upward gradient. So once we get down to 27 miles an hour, I'm going to apply power notch 1 again. Up to 30 miles an hour, shutting off the power. And as we enter Chatham Station, I'm going to make a minimal brake application. The 6 carriage stopping position is towards the end of the platform, but not all the way at the end. Just increasing the braking force a bit. There's our 6 carriage stopping position coming up now. It can catch you off guard if you don't know where it is. It's a bit hidden. Just releasing the brakes there just to creep towards it. And the minimal brake application to come to a stand. Perfect. Neutral, door release on the left. And we're still about, oh, voice crack. We're still about 90 seconds late. Yeah, I'm struggling to recover time here, but 90 seconds late is actually not that bad, honestly, for railway standards. Green signal, monitors, door close button. Doors have closed. Green signal, monitors again. Forward, power notch 1. Brake pressure has fallen to 0. So power notch 2. I feel like you guys are probably struggling to see the brake pressure gauge over there. I'm struggling to see it myself, but yeah, what can I do? But I've only selected power notch 2, and I've done that because the speed limit is currently 30 miles an hour, but will soon be increasing to 50 miles an hour. So I'm trying to avoid, I think I mentioned this in the Thameslink Class 700 video, I'm trying to avoid reaching 30 miles an hour and having to shut off the power. I just want to accelerate up to 50 continuously, if that makes any sense. So I'm trying to delay reaching 30 miles an hour as much as possible. There's the 50 board cut. No, that's not the 50 board. Where is the 50 board? There's the 50 board there attached to the signal. Up to 30 miles an hour. I'm currently in power notch 1. Just trying to stall hitting 31 miles an hour. And yeah, the back of our train should now be clear of the 50 boards, so straight into full power. So that just helps us maintain a continuous rate of acceleration. Sorry, no, not a continuous rate of acceleration. That just allows us to continuously accelerate rather than accelerating up to 30, then shutting off, running on momentum for a bit, and then accelerating again after that. You can do that if you want, but I just prefer to continuously accelerate. Speed limit has now increased to 60 miles an hour. There was a board for that just before we entered this tunnel. And as we exit this tunnel, I'm going to make a minimal brake application and quickly increase that to 50%, just on the approach to Gillingham station here. So aiming for an entry speed of 30 miles an hour into station platforms. We entered Gillingham station at about 33 miles an hour, which is fine. And the 6 carriage stopping position is coming up quite fast, so I'm just increasing the braking force up to 75% momentarily, then back down to minimal, releasing, and just crawling up to the stopping position. Where is it? There it is. Putting that in the window. Minimal brake application to come to a stand. Neutral, door release on the left. Why is that so loud? Developers, please fix the sounds of the networker. It's too loud. Oh my gosh, such a nice train as well. It had such a lot of potential, but just basic things wrong. Anyway, let me not be the train sim world Simon Cowell, because yeah. Green signal, monitors, door close button. Where is it? There it is. Doors have closed. Green signal again. Monitors. Forward. Power notch 1. Brake cylinder. Sorry. Brake pressure has fallen to 0. So straight up to power notch 4 because the speed limit is currently 60 miles an hour. Increasing to 80 miles an hour in about a mile's time. I'm just gonna drink some water, guys, so if you can hear that, I apologize, but I need water. Starting to get a bit more confident with my commentary now, so I'm throwing a bit more comedy in there every now and then, although it's not actually funny, but I don't know. I don't know. Just acknowledging the vigilance alert there. That occurs when no controller input is detected for 60 seconds. I say that in every video, but in case this is the first video by me you've seen, there's our 80 board, so I had shut off the power momentarily there, but I've now gone back into full power. Right, so we just, oh gosh, we just came off a right hand curve. We're now on a straight section of track. We're approaching the second signal of that straight section, so at that point you want to make I'm going to make a 75% brake application, and I'll reduce that as I get closer to Rainham station. And I'm just doing that in an attempt to claw back some time. The normal way I would approach Rainham station would be to make a minimal brake application at the first signal of the straight section of track. Because, like I said, we're running a bit late, I'm braking harder and later than usual. We're traveling a bit too slow entering the platform there, so I've just reduced the brakes momentarily, released the brakes momentarily. Now going back into a minimal brake application. Still going a bit too slow, so I've released the brakes again. Back into minimal. Upping that to 50%. Back down to minimal. And momentarily releasing just to creep towards our stopping position. And I'm gonna come to a stand with the signal in view. There we go. Neutral, door release on the left. Ooh, we're getting there. We're getting there. 2 more stations. Right, green signal, checking the monitors, door close button. I sounded like one of those you know those cars from the 1950s with those funny sounding horns. Or in cartoon characters, when you see the cartoon, he sees like a girl that he finds attractive. It's like anyway, the doors have closed, the monitors, green signal, forward, power notch 1. And straight up to power notch 4, glancing at the monitors as we move off. Oh dear. I am fighting to stay awake. And now I'm singing. Okay. The vigilance device saved you guys. It's like the train knew. The train was like, nah, stop that, man. Stop that. Yeah. Why is that plane? A plane just flew over my house, but it sounded terrifyingly low. You know when it's almost as if the plane's vibrating your house. That was terrifying. And I'm hearing noises coming from my kitchen as well. I think it's my cat, but it's freaking me out. I can't lie. Okay, so speed limit is still 80 miles an hour, but it's about to reduce to 70 miles an hour. This is Newington Station that we're passing through. So at the other side of Newington Station, your speed will be reducing to 70 miles an hour. So I've just made a minimal brake application there. Released the brakes as we came down to 70 miles an hour. And because we're on a very steep upward gradient, I've made a power notch 3 application just to maintain 70 miles an hour. We're currently doing 68. And we also passed a whistle board, so I just sounded a long blast of the low tone horn there. I think we're about to pass another whistle board soon, very shortly. So I will do the same thing. There it is. So another blast of the low tone horn. And we're up to 70 miles an hour. We've also passed over the summit of the gradient. Speed limit is now increasing to 80 miles an hour. So back up to full power. And we're on a downward gradient, so I'm going to shut off the power at 75 miles an hour and just let the speed roll up to 80. I just heard my cat scream. Did the mic pick that up? I wonder if the mic picked that up. That sound is so odd. Anyway, I'm now preparing to apply the brakes for Sittingbourne Station. At that signal that we just passed, that would be where I'd make a minimal brake application. Because, like I said, we're running a bit late, I'm going to apply the brakes later and harder than I normally would. So around here, I'm going to make a 50%, in fact 75% even. Better safe than sorry. Just reducing that to minimal for now. Aiming for an entry speed of 30 miles an hour into the platform. Lovely, 32 miles an hour. Just going to increase that to 50%. There's our 6 carriage stopping mark coming up there. Back down to minimal. In fact, I'm going to release the brakes momentarily. Minimal. Release. Where is it? There it is. Minimal. Perfect. Neutral, door release on the left. Still a minute late. It is what it is. It is what it is. Whew. Okay, green signal, glancing at the monitors, door close button. Sensitive controller. There we go. I was daydreaming. I was daydreaming so badly just then. And anyway, green signal, glancing at the monitors, a final time. Forward. Power notch 1. And straight up to power notch 4 when the brake cylinder, I keep saying brake cylinder, when the brake pressure falls to 0. And the final glance of the monitors as we pull off. I keep forgetting to make that final glance of the monitors as we're pulling off, which is bad. Because imagine if someone was trapped in the doors. Squash. Next station is Faversham. I just want to hurry up and get there because I am exhausted. I'm telling you, I am exhausted. I'm quite pleased I actually found the energy to record this because that's just down to my schedule. The way I upload, the way I've been uploading videos this week. I've been uploading a video each day, so I need to be recording and editing at a certain rate in order to not run out of videos to upload. So yeah, I'm very pleased that I got this recording done. There's a whistle board there, and we're up to 79 miles an hour, so I've just shut off the power there. We were on a downward gradient, but we are about to enter an upward gradient, so I'm just preparing to apply a bit of power. There we go. I can see that we had the downward arrow appearing there next to the speedometer, which told us that we were beginning to decelerate. So I've just applied power notch 2 to maintain our speed, and the downward arrow has come back, so just applying a bit more power. We're now in full power at the moment, and our speed has balanced out at 79 miles an hour. This is Tenham station that we're passing through. We are not stopping here. Up to 80 miles an hour, so I'm just reducing the power a bit. But the speed limit has now increased to 85 miles an hour, so I've gone back into full power. We're on a severe upward gradient at the moment, so we are not going to get up to 85. The speed limit is going to momentarily increase to 90 and then drop to 75. And the drop down to 75 is at the summit of this upward gradient, so yeah, we're not gonna get up to, we're definitely not gonna get up to 90, and I doubt we're gonna get up to 85. Yeah, you can see that the train can't even get above 82. This is starting to decelerate, and I'm in full power. But yeah, we just passed the board with the number 90 on it. It's a bit of a pointless speed limit, to be honest, because speed limit's going back down to 75 very shortly. Now, this signal, if this signal is showing a green light, which it was, that means we've been cleared all the way into Faversham station. I've also made a minimal brake application at this point to bring us down for the 75 mile an hour speed limit, which we were down for just in time. But because we're now on a downward gradient, just whistling there, I mean just sounding my horn because of the whistle board, and acknowledging an audible AWS indication regarding a warning board for a reduction down to 60 miles an hour in the speed, sounding my horn for another warning board, another whistle board, acknowledging an audible AWS indication for this double yellow signal. Okay, so what was I going to talk about in the first place? I can't even remember. I just forget it. Anyway, speed limit is expected to reduce down to 60 miles an hour. So I'm just, there we go, 60, and we're down at 57. I think I was gonna say, what was I gonna say? Yeah, I decelerated down to 70 miles an hour instead of 75, and that's because of the downward gradient. That's what I was gonna say, but then I got interrupted by a lot of things. So just acknowledging the audible AWS indication for this single yellow signal here. And we have a red signal at the end of Faversham platform. So I'm going to enter the platform at about 25 miles an hour. And I'm going to aim to go over the AWS magnet associated with that signal at 20 miles an hour. Here we are approaching Faversham station. Perfect. So yeah, I've just been bouncing between the minimal and 50% braking positions on our approach to Faversham station here. And here's the 6 carriage stop mark just here. Just trying to put that in the window there. There we go. Full service, neutral, setting the DRA because we have a red signal, and door release on the left. Yes! Right. Let's get out of here. So sit back down. Where you going? F and R switch into the off position, remove your master key. We can leave the, in fact no, we're going to turn that into the tell position. Isolate these two safety system isolation switches and do the same thing. Okay, return to free roam and do the same thing with these two switches that we switched on at the start of the journey, and quickly leave the train before it drives off with us inside. Yeah, that's it. That is it. We made it. I'd like to thank you guys for watching this rather longer than normal commentated drive. If you made it to the end, you are a real one, and you might as well subscribe. But yeah, once again, I appreciate you guys for taking the time to watch this. Check out all the other videos if you haven't already, and this is just the beginning. Trust me, we got some major content plans on the way. You can tell that I'm getting tired. I'm just waffling at this point. But yeah, I will catch you guys in the next one. Love. This, what on earth? Brother.